Good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday, guys. Today it is August 19th, 2026. It is currently 7:18 a.m. And welcome, everyone, to our morning reflection, guys. So, I woke up about 50 minutes ago at 6:30. That's when my alarm went off. And today, guys, is my cousin Myra's birthday. She just turned 46. That's her real age. She might interpret it as old, but she is 46 for real. And, well, my Auntie Dolly prepared cake for her since yesterday. And today she's not gonna go to work, neither tomorrow, neither Friday. Because yesterday she asked for a 3-day vacation. And I asked her why, and she said, well, her patients can be stressful. I'm talking about patients like, in medical settings. Because she works as a receptionist. So she has to take care of over 200 patients in a public hospital. Which can be overwhelming sometimes because sometimes, especially children, can be stressful. They cry, they throw tantrums, and by the end of the day, it leaves them mentally exhausted. And receptionists, they often have to put a mask over themselves to sort of act calm so that they can feel welcomed. Or I don't know how they do it, but yeah. Anyways, guys, welcome, guys, to our morning reflection. And I still have this thought in my head of the investigation that I was doing with Hey Google yesterday.
An app is using the mic, so Gemini can't start.
About adrenaline. No, not adrenaline. Benadryl. Yesterday I was researching about allergy medications using Hey Google.
An app is using the mic, so Gemini can't start.
I loved the investigation yesterday, and today I'm thinking if I can ask my Auntie Dolly if she can give me the one of her Benadryl bottles that she has, so I can smell it and just see how it smells without drinking it or anything like that, because I don't want to be drinking Benadryl, especially because it contains diphenhydramine, which is a first generation antihistamine, meaning that it crosses the blood-brain barrier, causing notable sedation and drowsiness. So that's why it's not recommended to drink. And I wouldn't recommend drinking that at night, especially because even though it helps with sedation and stuff, it impacts the sleep architecture of your nightly sleep. It impacts your sleep architecture. It suppresses rapid eye movement, which is important for consolidating memories, and it induces more slow wave sleep initially, but then it becomes kind of lighter. And you might not notice it because you're unconscious, but there might be moments of micro awakenings. You might not even realize it, but then the next day you wake up drowsy. So that's why I wouldn't recommend I keep saying adrenaline. Benadryl. I wouldn't recommend Benadryl for for like any sleep aids and stuff because they have risks, especially at higher doses. It can also cause a paradox, especially in children. They can be nervous instead of sleepy, or fuzzy, whatever. But I wouldn't really recommend that medication. Now, I've heard in past videos, well, not yeah, I've heard in the past of people using another medication containing the same ingredient, um, Unisom, which is a sleep aid, and people use it for insomnia. I don't know if they use it daily or sometimes, but they use Unisom for insomnia, and it works the same way as Benadryl. It causes notable sedation, drowsiness, but it alters the stages of sleep, which is the concerning part. Yep. Now another sleep aid. Well, I've studied this in the past, guys. People who have narcolepsy, or yes, narcolepsy. People who have narcolepsy drink sodium oxybate, which is a very powerful central nervous system depressant that sort of forces a deep sleep in a few minutes. You're basically in a chemical induced sleep that is so deep. It's probably deeper than natural sleep. But it only acts for a short period, often like 2 hours or so. And then it wears off, and then you have to take your second dose after like 2 or 4 hours later. Sodium oxybate, yep. It is very strictly controlled by healthcare providers because you got to make sure you take it at the right time and take the right dose to prevent any complications, and making sure that you take your second dose as soon as possible, like after like 2 or 4 hours later. And that means having to wake up and take it, which can feel like effort. And I don't like to imagine drug induced sleep because that just feels so artificial compared to just natural sleep where you go through the stages of sleep without any problems. But I don't like to imagine people who have insomnia and have to take these medicines. Like, medication can be, in my opinion, medication is pretty scary. Medication can be very scary. Even if it's just a simple medicine for the cold, it's scary. It's just scary thinking about it. Even though they don't cause really much effects, depending on the medicine that you're taking, it's scary imagining taking it. And also because these medicines only act like temporary fixes instead of a cure. Yeah. ibuprofen is also an example, guys, because it is a fever reducer, but it's only temporary. The effects usually last for 4 to 6 hours. And I don't like it when people have to take their medication. They have to keep track of their dose when they are like when they're doing other things that they enjoy. I don't like to imagine people having to track their doses. It can be stressful. Tracking medication doses. And if it almost feels like you're stuck in a loop because you get a fever, you take the medicine, 4 hours later your fever comes back again, you have to take it again. It's just annoying. It feels like a loop that you have to constantly battle through for a few days, depending on what you have. It could be like influenza or strep throat, whatever. Influenza, guys, is one of those common symptoms that causes those recurring fevers and stuff of over 100 degrees Fahrenheit or higher, especially in children. Because a fever creates like a hostile environment. A higher body temperature creates a hostile environment for viruses because they cannot survive in hot temperatures. So if they can't survive, they get killed by the hot temperatures. And that's why a fever is, well, in terms of the immune system, the fever is very important to make it easier to target the virus. But it can be very challenging for humans who are trying to battle the flu for days with a fever and constant body aches that keep coming and going. You know, going because of the medication and coming back after like 4 hours later. Thankfully,
Large red
guys.
circle action kit premiere in 30 minutes. Walking through China's most beautiful ancient town in the rain.
Thankfully, guys, I did not have those recurring loops because I remember I had a similar illness in October of last year. I started with a pretty high. I started with sudden weakness in the afternoon of that Wednesday of October 8th. In the evening, I was my sleep felt very fragmented. I did not sleep almost at all that evening. It felt like it was very light. At 3 in the morning, I woke up telling my mom I had a headache. So then she gave me either ibuprofen or Tylenol. It worked, but surprisingly, I did not get any fevers throughout the entire day, except for a minor sore throat that lasted for days. That was the most prominent symptom. 2 days later, my fever came back. Maybe it was because my immune system was still fighting, was probably, I don't know, but it kind of stopped fighting the infection and then it hosted a second battle again. 2 days later. Again, I took the medicine. Nothing happened. I felt better. No more fever after that. No more body aches. Just congestion, sore throat, and eventually a cough. That didn't stop. Yep. So, I don't know why. Like, I'm curious. Like, throughout the past illnesses that I had, ever since birth, I've never experienced moments where I took medication and fevers went back hours later. But instead, I took medications and my fevers wouldn't come back, maybe never, ever again. The same thing happened in February of 2024. I had a similar illness. I had I started the same way. I started weak. I was my throat was hurting a little bit. I was like sitting on the couch. I was wrapping myself in blankets in my bedroom because it was also very cold that day. Well, at least I told my mom as soon as as soon as possible. She gave me the medicine. The fever kind of went away. I kind of felt a little bit better by evening. But then it came back again in the morning, which may have been the medication that wore off. Buenos días, Mayrita. Feliz cumpleaños. I gotta pause.
Pause button. Stop recording button.
Anyways,
Tap to
guys,
activate.
my cousin Myra just woke up. Today's her birthday. And we were just talking about the flu, but never mind. We're not gonna talk about this anymore because now my brain is now in something else now. Anyways, guys, we're gonna stop our reflection right there. I'll see you guys in the afternoon for our afternoon reflection. And thank you guys for watching this video. I recommend you guys subscribe. And I'll see you all later. Goodbye.